Hello friends, welcome to next tutorial in ChatGPT RPA series. In today's blog, we'll write some fun code which deals with different type of timers related functionalities like timer, countdown, alarm, world clock, boxing match, Tabada, jump rope, and EMOM, etc. Links to GitHub source code and YouTube playlist is included in the video description below. So let's browse to our GitHub RPA repository. Inside this RPA GitHub repository, if you're looking for other Python automation related code, you'll find links to a lot of different examples which perform variety of different tasks. In today's blog, our main emphasis will be on writing code for different timers. So let's get started. We will start with writing code for a very simple timer. So let's first import time module and let's assume we are displaying a timer for 60 seconds. So define a variable time second equals to 60. Let's also note down start time in a variable. Start time equals to time.time, which is equals to current time. Now let's create a while loop, and inside the while loop we are going to calculate elapsed time. So elapsed time is obviously which is the current time minus the started time. So time.time minus the start time, and we are going to create an cast it to an integer. All right. Now simply we'll calculate the time remaining, which is time seconds minus elapsed time. All right. So now later we'll delay this while loop by 1 second by calling time.sleep, and we'll simply display the time remaining, which is in minutes and seconds. Now let's call that time.sleep by 1 second. All right. So now I believe this will get the job done. Let's execute this. Alright, as you can see, this timer is started at 1 minute, that means 60 seconds, and every second is going to display the time remaining. Now similarly, we write the same code for countdown timer, but it's going to be a lot simpler. So here let's define a variable called countdown. Countdown time equals to 60, and very simply inside the for loop, we are going to subtract countdown by 1 every second. So time remaining, let's display the time remaining countdown time, and later just subtract it by 1. Countdown time equals to -1. All right, now let's go test this out. Let's include a print statement as well, and let's run this code. All right, as you can see, the code works fine. All right, so let's continue writing more code for another functionality, say alarm clock. So for example, you want to implement a alarm clock feature. Now to do that, because alarm often you need a sound functionality as well. So let's include another module, another library called play sound. Again, I already have installed, so I'm not going to do it again. Very simply, what I'm going to do, so this play sound, what it does is just play some sound, some kind of a wave file. Very simply, what you want to do, so you want to take an input from the user. That means when the user wants to set an alarm for. So simply, and what you do, you take the current time, and inside the while loop, you compare that alarm time to the current time. And as soon as they both are equal, you want to play the alarm sound. So current time equals to standard, that means the standard time. And if current time equals to alarm time, you want to play that sound. So play sound dot play sound. All right. And then you want to do it every second. So I'm going to put a, sleep here, timer.sleep here for 1 second, time.sleep by 1 second. Now let's continue writing more timer related functionality code here. So this time we want to build a world clock. And as you can see in the world, there are different time zones. So what we want to do, we want to import the date time, and we want to import another module called Pi time zone. So from Pi time zone, import time zone. And now simply let's create an array which has the 3 different time zones. For example, you can include more time zones as per your requirement. So in my example, let's include the 3 different time zones: American time, European time, and Asia, Tokyo. Now simply what we want to do, we want to display the world clock. So for each time zone inside the time zone array, so TZ in time zones, what we want to do, we want to display the current time based on the time zone. So simply what datetime.now does, datetime.now will display the current time, and the TZ, the Pi time zone module what we implemented, it can convert the time based on that time zone. So simply what we are going to, and then we are just going to simply print that the current time based on the time zone. So for each time zone, we are calling the current time, and we are converting that current time to that particular time zone. All right, now let's go run this code. So as expected, you will see once you run this code that it displays the time based on the time zone. Now let's move on to writing code for a little bit more complex functionality, say boxing match timer. So as you can see, most of the boxing matches goes for 10 rounds, with each round is 3 minutes each, with followed by 2 minutes break. So this time again we are going to so first define a variable called number of rounds. So most of the boxing matches are 10 rounds, and the round length. So each round is for 3 minutes. So we just convert that to seconds, and break length equals to 2 times 60. Now simply we want to create a for loop which goes by each round, and inside that each round for loop we will create two different for loops. So first for loop will display will go through the round, which is 3 minutes, and the second for loop will go through the break. So for I in range 1 to 10, that means number of the rounds, and then inside that for loop, first for loop will deal with the round length. So for example, the first round, which is 3 minutes each, and here we are going to display minutes and seconds. Let's use a function called dibmod and go through the signature of that. It returns a tuple. So that's how you pass a value inside the dibmod and you will get the minutes and seconds tuple. Okay. Now simply what we want to do, we want to display the minutes and seconds for each round. So time left, and we are going to say minutes, seconds. All right. Time left. Now this for loop is dealing with that the round. Now let's do one thing. So after that, followed by the 3 minutes round, we want to create another timer, that means another for loop which goes through the break, which is 2 minutes. So simply I could have copy pasted that code, and instead of, as you can see, the only thing different here is instead of the variable say round length, I am using the variable break length, which is 2 minutes. All right, let me just, as you can see, round length in first for loop and break length in the second for loop. Now let's put a sleep here. Time.sleep equals to 1, match over. Now let's go execute this code, and if everything is fine, as you can see, so your boxer match timer works well. Thank you. Now let's move on to writing another piece of a timer related functionality code, which is EMOM and TABADA. So EMOM means every minute of minute. So for example, you set a goal that I'm going to work for next 10 minutes, and every 1 minute I'm going to do this exercise. These are, and same thing with the TABADA. So EMOM clock. So you start with defining the counter. So for example, I'm going to do workout every minute on the minute until 10 minutes. So EMOM minutes variable equals to 10. And then what you want to do, for every minute break, you want to play some kind of a sound. So that's why I could have imported the Pi audio or other audio files. I'm using a wind sound here. So let's go define a start time variable, which is the current time, and next beep times. So next beep time is because every minute of the minute, so start times plus 60 seconds. And simply what you want to do, every 60 seconds you want to make that beep sound, or you want to play that sound that hey, minute is over. And you will do this for until your EMOM minutes have been consumed. So now inside that while loop, we want to compare that. If current time is greater than next beep time, you want to play that beep sound. All right. Now let's get the print beep, and we are going to increase that beep time by 60 seconds. So now let's execute this code. All right. So as you can see, the code works fine. EMOM clock is started, and after every minute it plays a beep sound. All right, so last but not the least, I want to go through another piece of code called jump rope counter. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show this to you live. I won't be able to write the live code because here this code is a little bit complex, and it can best be implemented on some kind of a IoT device, because here you need to capture the sound. So whenever you're doing a jump rope, it makes a sound. So basically, essence of this code is what it's doing. It's capturing that sound, that jump rope sound, and based on the sound you are making a counter, and you're including a counter, and that's how you are showing yet number of the jump count. At the same time, you are also making a note of the jump time. But again, this code, unfortunately, I have the code, but I didn't get a chance to test it. In future, maybe I will be able to test it on some kind of IoT device. So that's all I have to show you on this timer related functionality. I hope you'll find some of this code useful. Please stay tuned for next videos. Thank you.